Welcome, everyone, to YPN's Hot Seat. My name is Corey Whedon, mortgage lender with First Premier Bank, member of the YPN Steering Committee, and co-chair of the YPN Membership Committee. Each week, we bring you one of your fellow YPN members so that you can learn more about other members and tips or tricks to their successes in business and life. Thank you for spending time with us. You can watch us live on YouTube or Facebook every Friday at 12 noon. Remember, you can ask any questions while we're live, and we will make sure we get those asked, especially while we have Kyrin here with us. Otherwise, make sure to leave comments if you're not watching us live, and feel free to hit that like and subscribe button now. Kyrin, this is going to be a super fun interview. I know we've had a couple minutes to chat before this. I'm really excited for people to get to know who you are, what you do, what you're all about, your story, pretty much. Why don't you start first, though, by telling each of us who you are, where you work. I know you have two jobs, so you can kind of tell us both, and then what you actually do for a living.
Sure. Well, hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Kyrin Wahlmeier, and I am the Outreach Coordinator and Development Director for Family Service, Inc. It's a mental health nonprofit here in town that's actually been around since 1959, but we have never had a position like mine before where we connect those services to the community in a way that's through marketing and events and just all sorts of engagement to the community. So that's pretty exciting, being a part of something like that. What sets us apart as a nonprofit is we have free counseling for people with no insurance and low income, and we have a sliding fee scale. So that's that job. And then I also am a part-time wedding DJ, and I've been doing that for 4 years with complete weddings and events.
I feel like that's such a opposite mix, and really cool to be able to throw that together and do both sides and really see those different things. To start with, though, I really want to dive into the whole where you work for mental health. Can you repeat the name of the company?
Family Service, Inc.
Family Service, Inc. How long have they been around?
1959.
Okay, so definitely some history, some experience there. They know what they're doing. You guys, I should include you in that. You guys know what you're doing, all of that. Where are you guys located?
A corner of 49th and Western, 2210 South Brown Place. It's near the mall-ish.
Okay, and how did you get started there?
So I graduated from SCSU in a major public relations and a minor in event facilities administration. And then I moved back home and I was looking for jobs like crazy because, COVID. And I found the receptionist option here. And I've always been interested in mental health. And so I was like, oh, that'd be really cool. And so I started as a front desk, and Sarah, my really awesome executive director, saw that I could do marketing and other things. So I did that for about 2 hours a week and just started posting on our page and building up awareness of who we are. And then in December, she hired me full time to handle all of it.
Super cool. That. It's crazy how it just kind of flows together. You start shining in one area, and next thing you know, you're just doing that.
It's very exciting and very cool. And I guess to touch on where I had my passion for mental health was when I was a kid, my best friend suffered from really high anxiety and depression, so bad that she was like ill before school and wouldn't go because she was super anxious, and she went to doctors and they kept telling her like, you're having gluten intolerance or there's something else going on, but it was really her anxiety. And one big thing about me, people that are really close to me and people who are not very close to me too, but especially people who are close to me, I just scour the internet and Google everything I can to try to help them. And so that was part of like why I wanted to learn more about mental health and the brain and all of that. And then as I kept going through life, more and more of my friends were having anxiety and depression, people I never would have thought. And I was very confused because I also just didn't even think about the fact that I probably also had anxiety and ADD on the side with that. And I came here, worked for Family Service, and I was like, well, it's just exclusive to like people with depression. Like those are the people who have mental health problems. And then I realized, no, everybody has mental health. It's just like your physical health. I can get anxiety and not have an anxiety disorder. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to explain more of that to people. And the counselors are fun, and it's not just have to be this really serious thing. And it's very important for everybody to have counseling. And like I said, in that mental health forum I participated with you guys on Wednesday, was my hope is that people will go to the counselor like they go get a physical checkup from their doctor. So that's why.
Yeah, that's super cool how, it's something that really you saw and grew up with, and it obviously affected, it has to affect, if you're around that person, it's going to affect you in some way. And now you're actually helping others kind of with that, growing up, none of us understand any of that stuff. So growing up, you really saw it, and now you're understanding it, and now you're trying to really share and help everybody else growing up that might see it. And I did actually, I was thinking about this, and May is Mental Health Month, correct?
Yes.
Yep. So we are in June. I know we would have loved to have you in May to really spotlight all of this stuff during the month of, it really being out in the open of everything. And I'm kind of glad we don't have you in May, because it is something that should be continuous. And I do see it coming out. I think the big ones is what's his name used to be with the Timberwolves. He was really bringing it into the spotlight with sports in the NBA, Kevin Love, and doing all that. And I think nowadays, especially in the last couple of years, it is really coming out that it's okay. It's not something to be ashamed of. So one of the biggest questions I have for you, and maybe you can answer this, maybe it's something that you would say, talk to, I don't even know, so-and-so that works in your office. But what is one of the biggest signs of someone that needs help when they might think to themselves they don't need help? So what is...
Yeah, something I'm learning, and I do research a lot to post on the family service page too. So there's you can find some of that information on our page. But I like to compare it to being sick. So right now I have a cold. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm not going to go to the doctor for my cold. I'm going to let it pass. You can be sad, but if you're sad for a long period of time and your mood starts to change and you feel like you don't get the same kind of enjoyment out of life, or in the subject of anxiety, you're really anxious, or you're not even going to school or work because you're so anxious, that's when you might want to consider getting help. But again, you can go to the counselor at any point just to better yourself. You don't have to just be struggling.
Is there any tool or any activity that somebody can do while they're sitting behind the computer listening to this and saying, maybe I should do this quick little activity to see if I should go talk to somebody? Is there anything like that that you guys try to spread?
Not per se an activity, I guess. You just a mental health, like a check-in, like take a break, step from your work and see what you're feeling. I know there's a lot of recommendations to kind of write it down, what you're thinking. I really like this app just personally called Intellect.
Okay.
And it goes through different types of scenarios. So you're feeling really overwhelmed, or you're having relationship problems, or what have you, and you can kind of go through it. And it seems very similar to what I hear from the counselors.
Okay, interesting. And another thing that I really wanted to touch base on is, are there any key factors of friends or family that might notice somebody going through something and to be able to go to them and say, hey, I think you should maybe talk to somebody? Because I'll put myself personally as an example. If I'm going on my day-to-day and maybe I'm not going to notice something, but my wife, my friends, is there something that they could notice of my personality, my actions, things like that, to where they would want to come up to me and say, hey, I think you should go talk to somebody over at Family Services, where you could have maybe noticed something with your friend that really spotlighted that you could have gone to them? Anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, that's happened before. Like, I've had friends that feel down for a long period of time and say, hey, like, do you want to go? I know people, it's a very easy process. You just, they take insurances, they have sliding fee scales. Like, we don't want people to worry about the money part when coming in for counseling. Some people don't really want to go, or they feel weak in that. So then I just try to also explain that, it's for everybody. It's very normal. But it ultimately depends on that person if they want to come in and do that. Otherwise, obviously there's the easy things like exercise and meditation, easy per se, but things you can do on your own, and it would take a quick Google search, or just doing things that make you feel happy and reevaluating where you're at in life and if you enjoy that. But a counselor is going to know a little bit more on that side than I am, not as a professional in that field.
So as somebody saying, you know what, I think I need to go talk to somebody for my very first time, what does that look like? Somebody coming into you guys, how does it look, somebody coming through the door for the very first time?
Yeah, so I still do answer the calls of those people, or when somebody comes in. It's not very often someone just comes in and wants to set up an appointment, but it does happen. And we just walk them through any kind of doctor's office, just get their profile set up, see what's going on, see who we can get the best fit counselor with them. And when they come in, we greet them and they get to meet the counselor, and it's all a very just relaxed process, I would say. We don't think of like, you could say all this stuff is happening to you, and we're like, okay, we'll get you the person that's going to best help you with this.
Yeah. And just for anybody that might have reservations on privacy, what is privacy like for you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah, we follow HIPAA. We don't have, just like any other doctor office, your information isn't shared. The counselor isn't allowed to share anything unless, I think, if you're harming yourself or others, but I think there's still a lot of gray areas. We also have employee assistance programs. So like the city is a part of that. And so you'll get 5 or however many sessions for free to come in through your employer. And we're a provider of that.
Okay. Well, and I'm guessing somebody can just talk to their HR or read their benefits program to kind of see if.
And they don't have to say, I want to come in for XYZ. They just say, hey, I want to know if you guys have an employee assistance program, or look in their handbook. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it is something that's very important out there, and I know it's starting to become more and more in the public eye. So thank you so much for everything you do over there to really put that on Facebook, to really be involved in YPN, be involved in the chamber, going to all these different events and activities, such as there was just that one the other night that you were speaking at that was part of YPN, putting yourself out there and really putting a spotlight on it. So thank you for being somebody that's advocating for that.
Absolutely. I really enjoy it. And I see the good here, and it's not seen yet in the community just because they don't know. So that's really,
it's so important. It's so important. So I do want to touch base. 30 minutes goes by way too fast. We're already 13 minutes in. I do want to touch base on your other job. We're going to jump from mental health all the way to DJing, having fun, being out in the dance floor, getting the groove on. How did you end up doing that?
Yeah, well, crazy enough, all of it kind of meshes together just with my personality and wanting to do fun events here and all that. But I started my freshman year of college. I was looking for a job. I had a theater scholarship at SCSU, and I didn't really want to do theater any longer because it was really a huge time commitment, but I wanted something very similar to that. And so I just Googling, and Indeed.com, they advertised it, so they would train everything. It's just a fun job. And I was like, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And I met with my boss, Chad, and he's one of the coolest people in my life. Oh gosh, that cold's getting to me. One of the coolest people in my life. And one thing that always stuck with me with him is he hires good people and the rest are trainable. And it's just always been a great atmosphere to be around. And I get to be, I like to say, the VIP parties in South Dakota. Like all the weddings, people are happy.
Yeah.
A lot of it's more customer service and MC focused than the music, but I also love the music, obviously.
You really hit a good point on that with Chad saying, you can't train personality. So it's the right person. You can train how to DJ. You can train how to do mortgages. You can any of that stuff. It's personality is where it really comes in. So yeah, he's onto something there. With that, what do you say is your primary DJing? Is it weddings or is it different events? I know COVID really threw a wrench in there. Maybe you can touch base about how that really changed everything up for you. But what do you see as the most common activity that you're going to?
Yeah, weddings for sure. But I've done a couple kids carnivals, a couple proms.
Okay.
One kid had a birthday party / Halloween party for his 5.5 year celebration at this really cool house in town. And there was a whole party with Halloween stuff. So
You just put the Monster Mash on repeat, right?
What?
You just put the Monster Mash on repeat, right?
That and like a bunch of other Who Let the Ghosts Out is actually kind of a jam.
Okay. So during holiday parties or Halloween parties, Who Let the Ghost Out? Interesting. Never heard of it. What would you say is probably the hardest part of being a DJ?
Probably when something goes wrong, or I just don't like lifting the equipment.
Yeah.
But just like having to problem solve some things, especially tech stuff, because we all know that tech's great when it works, but if it messes up, you're like, I didn't do it.
Yep, and it's usually not easy to fix. So, is it hard to find the right music?
Yes and no. Right away, it was a little bit of a challenge. I had to really get used to country here in the Midwest, which I didn't like country before. And then I kind of started to get into it, especially through DJing and other friends and such. But a lot of the music's kind of the same. People like kind of the same thing. So you can stray within, the Get Low period versus the YMCA period. And they're kind of always blend just like that. And I've gone to weddings and I've seen other DJs and it's all kind of similar. Some brides and grooms like special requests, but I've always loved music and being surrounded by music and listening to all kinds. So it's just like a library in my head.
That's awesome. Maybe you can tell us one of your, I want to hear your most awkward story. If you feel comfortable sharing that. I know that the person might be listening, so careful on what story you share. But one of mine was, and I hope they don't ever listen to this, but my brother-in-law's wedding, her family is big into polka. And so it was very much, we want this polka playlist. And the DJ was like, what? I don't know any polka. So he was really off. And I think we really took him out of his comfort zone and then shortly after that, they asked him to play AC/DC. And I think it was like 7 AC/DC songs in a row. And we're like, maybe not. So just the polka really threw him off. It was super awkward for everybody. Their family loved it. I think.
I like polka. At first, I was like, what? And then I went to a wedding, and it was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Okay. What would you say is your most awkward story at an event, I guess, of what you had to go through?
Honestly, I think it's when I was training. Like, some people would just kind of drop their pants and change, or like people lose clothes a lot at weddings. And that can make you feel like, oh, okay. Or you see something you weren't supposed to see, and you're just like, that's fine.
Next thing. Oh, that's fun.
People are having fun. So I'm usually having fun too.
Yes. And how do people find you if they say, Kyrin, I want you to be my DJ? How do they find you for that specifically?
Yeah. So I don't have my own card. It's all through the office, but you just search Complete Weddings and Events, Sioux Falls, and then contact them on the number that's on there, which I don't have off the top of my head here. But then you just say, I'd like Kyrin to be my DJ. So
they can request you.
Yep, they can request me. And my profile is on there too. So we all have bios on the website.
Okay. I know me and my wife did Complete Weddings. The photography, the videography, the DJ, all that super slick and easy. I recommend anybody out there. They are very, very good to work with. We got the pictures. I think most people wait months for their pictures. We had ours in less than a month. So we were really happy with how quickly we got that turnaround. But then the DJ, it was all taken care of. The photography, we didn't have to search a bunch of stuff. We looked at her stuff. She did good. The DJ, we were told he's good. So we just got assigned him, I think. But it's just such a super slick, easy program and process.
Yeah. They try to fit you with the best DJ if you don't request one. So
and they did a really good job. Do you guys have to share your setups with each other, or do you each have your?
What do you mean by share our setups? Like
the lights and
so
DJ
we
booths
just
and everything.
pick up everything from a garage, and we load it up in our car and we take it. And so we share that in that way, but we just have like 12 systems available to us.
Wow, that's quite a few.
But yeah, we got everything: photo, video, DJ, photo booth, which we're definitely hiring all the time for DJ and photo booth. So go on Indeed again and tell them I recommended it, because especially people like in our YPN sphere, they're outgoing and definitely I think would fit in any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then like uplighting and day of coordination, I think was added too.
Okay.
So.
Cool. It really is a cool process, an easy process. So anybody out there, if you're doing an event, have Kyrin come host it for you. I'm sure does a really good job, and the whole process in general is really slick and easy. So highly, highly recommend it. I do want to jump. We have about 5 more minutes before we get into speed round and rapid fire. I want to talk a little bit about YPN. You're pretty new into the YPN, correct?
Yeah, December.
So a little fresh, and December COVID was still a little active, so or still is a little active, but there weren't many in-person events, and so I think the first time we actually met was at a new member mixer, or new member lunch, I think is what it was, which is something that's held every quarter. What were your thoughts on that?
I loved it. I met 3 of the 4 friends that I met the 4th one at the PAVE event, but 3 friends that I now have because of that event. 1 second.
Yeah.
Who are just awesome, and I'm very grateful to have had that. So I would say my favorite YPN event was the new member lunch, and it was just really chill and easy. You're just talking, and there was no pressure.
Yeah. And everybody's in the same position. Everybody's new.
Yeah.
It's not like you're searching around trying to find somebody that's not talking in their little clique. It's an open, inviting, and I always tell people the best thing that you can do is come to one of those events, meet one person, and that one person, you're going to meet their friends, and then you're going to meet their friends. Is that kind of what you found too? The 3 people that you met there, not the fourth you met later, but the 3 that you met there, did you meet their friends?
We were all kind of like looking for friends. So yes and no, but most of us just were like been looking for friends. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. And now you get to go to events and see each other there.
Yeah. And we hang out outside. We like try to meet up every Monday and do something.
Oh, wow. That's cool. And that's what it's all about. You meet a couple people, you see how you can really grow that friendship, do things together outside of YPN. And it's really going to, I think, help all 5 of you, I guess, later on in careers, and just having that person that you can reach out and have fun with.
And we're always like wanting more people to hang out with us and join our group. So we're not like ever be a cliquey group.
So if anybody sees you at a YPN event, absolutely come talk to you guys, jump in, have that conversation, break into that conversation.
Yes.
I'm
losing my voice.
That's okay. We're almost done. So there are a couple of things that we always do like to touch base on, and then we have about 2 more minutes before we get to the speed round. But what are you most passionate about as a person?
I've been thinking about that. And I think I'm going to narrow it down to people. Okay. But like in the sense of helping people through the mental health field, bringing fun experiences like DJing with people, traveling with people. I can be alone, but I prefer to be around people.
Do you do a lot of traveling?
I try to. My boyfriend and a group of friends, we try to go every year somewhere lately. So we went to South Carolina right before COVID hit, Utah, and we're headed to Phoenix here soon.
Cool. So people can have that conversation. If you don't know Kyrin and you want to meet her at one of these events coming up, go ask her about her traveling if you like to travel, and that'll be fun.
Really, like you could say the most random thing, and I'd be like, "All right, you got my attention."
You go with it and just have fun with it, right? Okay, so we will jump over to our rapid fire. Bear with me as I pull it up real quick. We just go through all 20 questions as quick as you can. One or the other options. Are you ready?
1 second. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay, 20 questions. Here we go. Dog or cat?
Cat, but I like
Netflix.
dogs.
Cat, but you have a dog?
I like dogs, but I'm
okay. Okay. Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Call or text?
Call.
Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
Ice cream or snow cone?
Ice cream.
Music or podcast?
Music.
Apple or Android?
Android.
High tech or low tech?
High tech.
Work hard or play hard?
Both.
Okay.
Work
Hamburger
hard.
or taco? Work hard? Okay. Hamburger or taco?
Hamburger.
Online shopping or in-store?
In-store.
Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi?
Ice? What's that?
I don't really drink pop.
Oh, okay. Ice or hot coffee?
Hot.
Save or spend?
Save.
TV or book?
TV.
City or countryside?
Can I be in the middle?
Sure. Yeah, so winter or summer?
Summer.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Show or movie?
Movie.
Off the clock or morning mingle?
Morning mingle.
Okay, and there we have it. All 20 questions right there. Nice and easy. Morning mingle, is that what you said?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to an off the clock, but I at least got to like one of the 6 things.
Weren't you at the birthday bash?
That counts as an off the clock?
Yeah, that was an off the clock. Yep.
It changed my mind.
Okay. That one was really fun. I'm right there with you, though. I think the morning mingles are so much fun just because it's a smaller group of people. So you really get to have those intimate conversations without feeling like you're intruding on anything. So I do agree with that, definitely. Outside of work, are you a music or podcast person? You said music, but you have to love music. I mean, you're a DJ.
Yeah, I like podcasts. I listen to just a few of them, though. Like, I have my special ones. Family Service has a podcast, which even if I wasn't here, I'd love it. It's called Unscripted Let's Talk.
Okay.
And it's on our page, sdfsi.org. But it's a really great podcast with counselors that know a lot more than I do. And they talk about all sorts of topics like COVID and family dynamics, and something with a veteran podcast the other day, like really good stuff.
Interesting. Is there any other things that, before we get to this last part, that you want to plug business-wise, personal-wise, people to follow you, to watch your Instagram? What's the best way to connect with you? All of that.
Yeah, I'll plug one thing. Hopefully I've been doing a good job and people know that the 5K race and 1 mile walk is coming up on June 19th for us. All the proceeds go to providing that free counseling for people who can't afford it. And we're excited. It's in the morning downtown Sioux Falls at Faywick Park, starting at 8 a.m. for both the races.
Okay, walk and run, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you can do either one. You can walk the 5K, run the 5K. Like, we just want people to show up and participate and raise mental health awareness. So do whatever you want. You can go backwards if you want.
Yeah, and Kyrin, I think you put that in the YPN Facebook group, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and maybe post that again if you can do that. And that way we get everybody that is now just hearing about it, they can see it again, nice, fresh. Next week, we do have Olivia Essig, who is the campaign director at Sioux Empire United Way. Everybody, if you haven't had a chance to meet Olivia in person, she's at a lot of events, but absolutely make sure that you join the hot seat next week. I think that one's with Dakota. So Olivia, she does have some super cool stories and is really going far as a leader in South Dakota. Even at her young age, you can see her really elevating and going to the next level as a leader in Sioux Falls. So absolutely, you definitely won't want to miss that one. Kyrin, I just really want to thank you for taking the time to spend 30 minutes with us for people to get to know you. Speaking about the mental health, your story from when you were a child, you were speaking at the mental health event just a couple of days ago. That was super big success. I heard you did a really, really good job with that. So I just want to really take a second to thank you for being the advocate in YPN of who people can feel comfortable in coming and talking to you, and not only in YPN, but also the community and everything. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a very important part of the community.
For sure. Well, I appreciate that. I just doing my job.
Yeah. And people, what's the easiest way for people to connect with you? I see your email address on here.
Yeah,
Is that the
otherwise,
easiest?
shoot me a Facebook message, because if I don't know you and you're in YPN and we're mutual friends, most likely I'm gonna be able to see that a little bit quicker.
Awesome. So Facebook Messenger.
Yes.
The way to do it. So anybody, if you have any questions, you want to reach out to Kyrin personally, privately, anything like that, use her email address. You see that on the screen right here, or reach out to her on Facebook Messenger. Otherwise, Kyrin, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Corey. I had fun.
Good.